The notion that global warming is a war by the mainstream media against Christianity is a concept that has gained significant traction in recent years. This idea is often perpetuated by conservative Christians who feel that the media's focus on climate change is an attempt to undermine their values and beliefs. At its core, this argument suggests that the media's emphasis on environmental issues is a ruse designed to erode the moral foundations of Christianity and promote a secular, liberal agenda. Proponents of this theory argue that the media's coverage of global warming is disproportionate and sensationalized, with the aim of creating a sense of panic and urgency that can be leveraged to promote left-wing policies. They claim that this is part of a broader effort to undermine traditional Christian values, such as the notion of dominion over the earth, which is rooted in the biblical concept of humanity's stewardship of the natural world. By emphasizing the need for drastic action to mitigate the effects of climate change, the media is, in effect, promoting a form of eco-theology that prioritizes the well-being of the planet over human interests. Furthermore, some Christians argue that the media's focus on global warming is an attack on the sovereignty of God, who is seen as the ultimate creator and sustainer of the universe. By attributing the causes of climate change to human activity, rather than acknowledging the role of divine providence, the media is, in effect, diminishing the power and authority of God. This, they claim, is a form of theological liberalism that seeks to supplant traditional Christian doctrine with a more secular, human-centered worldview. In addition, the media's emphasis on the need for collective action to address climate change is seen as an attempt to promote a form of global governance that undermines national sovereignty and individual freedom. Thus, proponents of the theory argue, is a key aspect of the media's war against Christianity as it seeks to create a one-world government that is answerable to no higher authority than itself. By promoting the idea that climate change is a global problem that requires a global solution, the media is, in effect, creating a rationale for the erosion of national borders and the imposition of a secular, universalist ideology that is antithetical to Christian values. However, it is essential to note that this perspective is not universally accepted among Christians. Many Christian denominations and organizations recognize the urgency of the climate crisis and are actively working to promote sustainability and environmental stewardship as a moral and theological imperative. They argue that caring for the earth is a fundamental aspect of Christian discipleship, and that the media's focus on global warming is a necessary response to a pressing global issue that requires collective action and cooperation. In conclusion, the idea that global warming is a war by the mainstream media against Christianity is a complex and multifaceted concept that reflects deeper tensions between conservative Christianity and the secular, liberal ethos of the media. While some Christians see the media's focus on climate change as an attack on their values and beliefs, others recognize the urgency of the issue and are working to promote a more sustainable and environmentally conscious form of Christian discipleship. Ultimately, the relationship between Christianity and the media's coverage of global warming is shaped by a complex interplay of theological, cultural, and political factors that defy simplistic or reductionist explanations.